Prophecology. It's more than a philosophy, more than a psychology, more than just an ecology, bigger than biology, larger than anthropology, brushes against astrology. That's Prophecology.
Praise the Lord. I'm Master Prophet E. Bernard Jordan, your most trusted name in prophecy. And Prophetess Deborah, we have a special guest here today that's for this podcast, and Jonathan has been coordinating all of this. You know, Jonathan has me in this sweater like I'm back in high school.
Bishop, listen now, let's just be honest here. This sweater is giving so much life. I don't know if we can
life? Are you saying I was dead before?
Life.
It wasn't as alive as you are right now. This is a beautiful, beautiful, exclusive 2021 Gucci cardigan.
So it wouldn't have been exclusive if it wasn't Gucci?
No, because watch this. It could have been Gucci, and they have pieces that everyone has, but this is an exclusive Gucci piece.
I'm just saying it could have been just a cardigan.
It could have been.
And it would have still been fabulous.
And it still would have been fabulous, and it still would have been exclusive. However, this one happens to be a beautiful Gucci. Look at the suede. Pastor, do you see that suede top right there on that, like that? Ooh, and them buttons.
Gold buttons.
Bishop, fabulous, I tell you. You look fabulous.
But Jonathan, we have a special guest.
Yes, we do.
And no one can dress.
Oh, nope.
Like our guest here.
Oh, listen, let me tell you, for years.
It's like he walked up. They should just do a magazine and call it.
He was walking up, and I said, "It's only Wednesday. Is this what you're doing?" Like he said. You know what he said? What should I have on a Wednesday?
Smart answer.
Yeah,
Good answer.
It was the right answer. And I mean, he's a legend. A living legend.
To God be the glory.
And he wakes the stage up. And I said, well, tell him about our guest.
Our guest, let me, all right. He's got so many biographies, you know. I'm waiting until Biography, the channel, does one on him. He'll be on TV One or, you know, one of those channels. We have James Hall.
Amen.
James Hall is an American gospel musician, organist, and music producer. He started his music career in 1994 with the release of God is in Control with Inner Sound Records.
Now that God is in control. God is in control.
Bishop.
God in control.
Bishop.
I remember when that came out.
Bishop,
everybody all across the country was saying, ooh.
Everybody. If you had a choir and you weren't oohing,
God was not in control.
we don't know who you are. And let me also see, that was a time when people started doing groups. Mm-hmm. Everybody was doing a group and a group and a group and a group. And they were getting away from choir music.
That's right.
But this gentleman, this James Hall, brought, watch this, contemporary group approach and choir and just fused it. People were listening to Mary J. Blige, people were listening to James Hall.
Yes.
No
Put a praise on that.
Yes. This is, he has released 6 albums with various labels, charted the gospel music albums and charts with Worship and Praise, which is the name of the choir he founded. He released an album with Voices of Citadel in 2010, Won't It Be Wonderful, that charted on the gospel album charts. In 1987, he founded Worship and Praise, his own gospel singing ensemble. In 1992, the opportunity to perform a 5-minute spot on a TV's Bobby Jones Gospel came.
Wow.
It was just the break they had been looking for, as earlier that year, their worship and praise WAP, you know how you be saying that, WAP? They're the WAP. WAP.
WAP.
They're the WAP.
I know the original WAP.
The original WAP.
The worship. Put a praise on that. The original WAP.
The original WAP.
Not out of the Bronx.
From Brooklyn.
Brooklyn WAP.
Brooklyn WAP.
The Borough of Kings.
That's where.
Starts with worship and praise.
That's right. That's why. So yes. So at the beginning of that, so his yes. So it was just just the break they needed. Okay. Now hold on. His music recording career began in 1994 with the release of the 2 albums by International Records, God is in Control and King of Glory, and those both placed on the Billboard magazine gospel albums chart at number 10 and 12. The 3rd album, according to James Hall, Chapter 3, was released on July 15, 1997, and placed at number 8 on the chart. He released Live from New York at Lincoln Center on July 7th, 1998, by Platinum Entertainment, and charted at number 10 on the gospel album charts. The next 2 albums, Messiah in 1998 and 1999's We Celebrate Christmas with James Hall, were released. His next album, We Are at War, was released in May 8th, 2001, and this placed upon 3 Billboard magazine charts. The gospel albums charts at number 7 and number 24. He's been on all the charts, all of them. His next release with Voices of Citadel, Won't It Be Wonderful, which this was released in 2010, and this was on the gospel album charts at number 5. The Trip Down Memory Lane was released in 2012 and placed at number 2 on the gospel charts. This is James, so he's a chart maker.
I mean, he's
Just a charter.
Yeah.
He's a charter.
I could know that. Wonderful.
Oh, listen, Bishop, my son, Christian, you know, the little preacher
Yeah.
one. Dad, play my song. Son, what song is that? God is in control. I said,
And
but
that was before he was born.
I said, you didn't even know what this was.
That was before you even met his mother.
I didn't know his mother. I barely knew mine. But I knew.
But it just slide down to another generation.
Going through, I was in high school when according to James chapter 3, the 3rd album came out. There was a song on there, Great Is Our God. I had never heard, Bishop, I had never heard a song. This is probably one of my favorite albums, but one of my favorite songs. Mm-hmm. This song was the best combination of classical meets church. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was everything. It had the incomparable, the late Melvin Crispell playing the it was incredible. I watched the album, but this is James Hall. I could do this for hours. Let me stop because I'm a fan.
You're a fan.
I'm a fan.
We can tell. You can. You're a fan. Let's give it up for James Hall.
James Hall.
Oh my God.
So, how are you doing?
I am great, Prophet. I'm so happy to be here with you. I feel like I have arrived.
I have. You're
arrived.
Right there. You're right there, right?
I have arrived. I'm on your show today, and it doesn't get better than this.
Wow. So listen, tell us, how did you get started in music? I want to know where, did they put you up on the communion table to sing? Did you have to start?
You are definitely a prophet because that did happen.
What?
I started out at a church called the New Hope Baptist Church, go figure, in Brooklyn. My mother was a church lady.
Wow.
And we would be at church from sun up to sundown. We would leave the Baptist church, and then we would go to the little storefront Pentecostal churches down on Fulton Street. And my mother, I really don't remember when did she know I could sing, or did she just say, this is gonna be the one that's gonna sing? And she started teaching me a song. My first song was Just a Closer Walk with Thee. And she started playing it, and she told them at the church, you need to let my son sing. I was Master James Hall at that time.
Yeah.
And I got up and I sung that, and then she took me all around Brooklyn. She was also the president of the Floral Club at our church.
Oh, yeah. You know, back in those days, they had floral. I was in a church that had a floral club.
Yeah.
Y'all don't know nothing about this.
They don't know nothing
Millennials
about it.
don't know nothing about the floral club. Do you know about the floral club?
No.
Really?
Oh, my goodness. They know nothing about the. Wow. You ain't had a church unless you had a floral club.
That's right.
And the floral club anniversary,
Yes.
they made the flowers of the church.
That's right.
The beauty of the church. They decorated the altar with live flowers.
That's right. Yeah. So yeah, my mom was the president of the Floral Club, and we would go to Floral Club anniversary, and she would put me on as the soloist. And that's how I started my little popularity of James Hall, Master James Hall. And so I did that for years. And one Sunday we went to church, and the musician wasn't there. My mother said, go get on that piano and play. I was like, man, I never played.
You never played?
Well, I had started classical training at 5.
Wow.
At 5?
5. I started classical training at 5, but I had never played gospel music.
How? What kind of mother did you have that would start you in
That was my
classical?
first manager. That was my first. My mother was my first manager. She said, this is the last chance. And I have. It was eight of us. I'm the baby, and she said, this is the last chance. I'm
Eight?
Eight
Oh, let's
siblings.
give that a hand. Eight of them. Wow, that was a large family. And Brooke, and what was the age range between y'all?
Oh, I was a surprise. They didn't. When I came, my siblings were very upset. They was like, you've got to be kidding me. So the age barrier between me and my sibs right now is pretty big. And I think the closest is 7 years.
Wow.
My brother is 7 years older than me.
Wow.
My sister, she don't mind me saying, my sister is 71.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Hey.
We talk all the time.
How
I'm
does
the baby, she's the oldest.
How does it feel being the baby of the family? I don't know. I'm the eldest.
I am the baby, and I am the baby. Literally. If you could make it any way you want to make it, I'm the baby of the family, and I'm still the baby.
Did the family cater to you? Did you find you had more than everybody else?
I was a mama's boy because I was always with my mother, so I was catered to, and my siblings always got my mother. You're gonna spoil him. He's gonna be so spoiled. And there it is.
And then she turned around and stuck you in the classical. So you started training classical piano at 5 years old.
5 years
and
old.
how long you did classical training for?
So my mom passed when I was 12, and when she passed, my siblings, they kind of kept the same ritual that my mother had with me. But about 14, they wasn't pushing me to stay with the classical, so I kind of like slid away. And then I made it into Manhattan School of Music.
Oh,
And when I made it into Manhattan School of Music, you know, my mom wasn't here to make me make any decisions. I made it in, I was like, oh, this is a big deal, Manhattan School of Music. And I was like, what is the ticket on this school? When I saw how much it cost to be in that school, I said, now, do I want to have to pay loans for the rest of my life? Or do I want to start a choir? Why I wanted to start a choir? Oh, because I was in high school and I started the gospel choir in high school.
what high school you went to?
James Madison High School.
Okay, I know James Madison High School.
They were known for football. But what happened was James Hall came to that school, and
You better go ahead.
I came to that school, and there was really not much for the black students. And you know how the church kids would get together in school, and we started hanging out in the music room and singing. I said, oh, we should start a gospel choir in the school. And he was like, they ain't gonna let us do that. And I got a group together, and we went to the principal and got it okayed, and we were singing at all the events at the school.
What?
Then it got so good because there was a lot of us are church kids, so we was having church in the music room, shouting, and talking about with the new records that came out, and then we got some gigs outside the church, outside the school, and we went to a Greater Free Gift. I never forget that was our first gig. We was so excited, and we went there and we sung and we danced and shouted just like church kids do.
Wow.
And when it came time for me to graduate, I was like, wow, we was having so much fun. And I was like, let's keep it going, y'all. And they was like, really? I was like, yeah. I said, now I could bring my other friends in, and that's how Worship and Praise started. I was standing on the stoop of James Madison High School, and I said, it was me, Marlene, and Jeffrey Young. Marlene will never let me forget it, that she was there when I came up with the name. She's still with me. Marlene is still with me. She's my pillar member. And we came up with the name James Hall Worship and Praise.
Wow, let's give that a hand. That's amazing.
34 years ago.
34 years ago.
Wow.
We gotta get a documentary. You gotta do a documentary on this.
Absolutely.
Is there a documentary out on you? What are we waiting on?
Gotta do that.
We're waiting on you.
What?
Bishop, should we do?
Obed.
Obed?
Obed used to work for the History Channel.
Could we do it, Obed?
We could do
Come
it.
on, Obed.
Choir Masters documentary.
Okay, now let's talk about choir master. You are a choir master. What would you say a choir master is, Jonathan?
Oh, to be a master. See, you're talking about an individual that is flown across the world to watch this, to teach people their music in different languages.
Wow.
Wow.
The question is, where has James Hall not been?
That's the question.
Where has he not been? He might have
Not
been.
where he has been, but where
Is he not? He
been.
might have been to Mars. I don't know. Because his
gotten
music
there
his music. Watch this, Bishop. What made James Hall music so amazing was, although his first album was so many years ago, you could play it today and it's just as relevant.
Sounds relevant and fresh.
Just as fresh. Just as fresh.
So what was the first time you left America? What was the first country you went to?
I think Germany.
Wow, you
That was
were
my
in
first.
Germany.
And that was, we went for, we went to Army base.
Yeah, I used to go preach in the Army base in Frankfurt, Stuttgart. I used to go out there.
To Hamburg.
Hamburg.
That's Germany.
Germany, yeah. We went to a couple of places. Germany is very interesting kind of
Place.
country. Yeah.
Definitely. But what was so amazing was, we did gospel. I did gospel with their choir there. They cried when I was leaving.
I'm sure
I was
they
just
did.
like, these people are crying for me?
Yeah, because they
It was like,
you gave them a piece of home.
yes. It was that was like such an amazing feeling. But that was my first out of the country situation.
Have you been to Asia at all?
Have not been to Asia.
So you haven't done the China and Japan and
I
stuff?
have done China. I did go to China, right?
you did
That's
go
the
to China?
last place I went to was China before the pandemic.
Really? And what were you doing in China?
I did a tour in China. A gospel tour in China.
Get out of here. And how did they receive you in China there?
Oh, it was great. Now, they had told us that we couldn't say Jesus a lot.
Really? That's interesting.
Yeah, because it's communist, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's communist.
They told us that it was really hard not to say Jesus, and we have Jesus in our songs. So we said it several times, and it was amazing because the praise did come in the building several times. We did I think 9 different cities in China.
Wow. So when you was in China, did you do God is in Control?
Yes, I did.
And that
was already a hit there.
God is in Control is a hit in
Already
China?
a hit there.
That's got to feel so good to see your...
That is an amazing feeling. It was an amazing... The God is in Control was already a hit, so that song was... We always had to do that.
So did you have footage of that?
I have footage of it.
You need to get all of that to Obed and y'all need to put a real.
Bishop,
you know
I
how to-
love it. We can use that during that night when we're doing.
That needs to be.
That would be phenomenal.
So you've been to China, you've been to Germany. Of course, you've probably been to the UK.
Yeah. I even been to Russia.
You've been to Russia.
Yes.
Well, you've been places I
mean,
haven't been.
those
You've been in communist.
major-
I mean, the most I've
He's
been
a
to is North
communist
Africa.
Christian.
Well,
I went to Russia. Russia is, God, it's amazing how God do things. I was in Grand Central Station. They were having a gospel, I don't remember what it was, but the Voice of the Citadel song. And a guy from Russia was walking through and he was like, oh my God, this is amazing. He's like, who do I need to speak to? Bishop Bond was there, and Bishop Bond said, that little guy over there. And we connected on Facebook, and he said, I love what y'all do. He said, I want to sing with y'all. I said, really? He's a Russian singer.
okay.
He said, I'm going to meet up with you, and he said, I'm going to teach you the words, and you teach it to your singers. I was like, okay. I said, now, can I ask you something? I said, is there a part in this concert that I could do some of my own music? He said, why not? And that's how we went to Russia.
What? Let's give that a hand. We didn't know that. I didn't know that. Jonathan, you knew that?
No.
See, this is how our history gets buried. You have icons in your midst, and so you were in Russia.
Russia.
So your classical training really played off.
Most definitely. And it makes a difference in my music, because a lot of things,
Yeah, we can tell the difference.
yeah, you hear a lot of the influence of classical music in my
Yeah. Because see, you've also brought hymns in. You brought hymns into a place that I mean, I can still hear it. I hear it in my head almost every day. Beautiful words, wonderful
words of life.
wonderful words of life. Now, as a little boy, we would hear that in church, but the way you came with the arrangement of that, I remember when I was watching it on, when y'all were before it actually got recorded, I think someone was videotaping y'all was rehearsing it, and I was like, oh my God. I was saying, I wish I could have just been there with the listening thing, and they were just, I mean, y'all, it was just such a flow. Yeah. How does these arrangements come to you?
Well, my mom, every Sunday morning, my mom played the piano as well. So that's what she did every Sunday morning. She would play hymns. So I grew up on hymns. And I always loved hymns. And like a lot of the churches now kind of strayed away from hymns. And it's just never left me. I love hymns. So I was telling worship praise, I said, I want to put together a hymn medley. And it's crazy how the medley came to play. I think I started with Wonderful Words of Life because that's like my favorite hymn.
Yeah.
So I started with that and left it at that. And I said, I'll come back next week with a connection. Then I came back the next week with Love Lifted Me. And then the next week, every week I added on and added on.
It was something, it was because you just hit, I was singing deep.
It flows really good.
inside.
That's because it was God inspired. Because I never take any of the credit for like, because I can't. People are like, what were you thinking when you wrote that? I said, I don't know. I don't know how. I don't even know how it came in my mind. But it just when it's played out, I'd be like, I wrote that.
Yeah.
Really, it's no lie.
It was just something else.
It's amazing.
I can hear that. Love lifted me.
I would be driving Bishop Brown in the car. And
That's Archbishop
Archbishop,
Brown,
the late,
our Father in God.
I would be driving him, and he would doze off to sleep in the car. So I'd be okay, he's sleeping, and then I would put on some James Hall. I would put
I
on
love James Hall.
Yes, God. Yes, love.
God Specializes by James Hall in the car. And as soon as this one part, there was just like this one part, he would just click that up. And it was the late now Rubinstein McClure.
That's right.
And he would hear her voice. He's, oh, wait. I know that voice. That music, unbelievable.
Yeah.
Tell us, how you were connected with institutional.
Yes.
How were you? Because see, I used to go down to institutional as a teenager, especially when there was no school on Monday. We'd be running down there on Sunday, because they would always do like a little mini concert after the back home out the radio broadcast. You could still, I could still remember the song 170 Adelphi Street.
170 Adelphi Street.
Yep. In Brooklyn. Yep. I mean, that choir there was unique. Now, did you sing at an institutional as well?
Okay, so let me get to the institutional story. I grew up in the King Emmanuel Missionary Baptist Church in Brooklyn. And there's a lady who was our choir director who still runs my life. And that's, she's an elder now. I'm gonna just call her, everybody knows her, Deborah Pritchard Stevenson. And my mother, and she was like I wanna call Deborah Pritchard my first manager.
Okay.
No, my mother was my first manager. Deborah Pritchard would have to be my second manager.
Okay.
But she would say, call my mother Lula, Lula, you need to let that boy get out and go some of these concerts. She said, well, I trust you with him. And so Deborah Pritchard took me to institutional, and when I went to institutional on a Sunday night, it was when there was no school the next morning, my whole life changed.
Yeah. The
My
music.
whole I loved music before I got to institutional. When I got to institutional, I'll never forget, I couldn't get past the organ sound. I said, I was looking, I was like, why is the bass so, I don't see a bass player. Because I grew up in a church that had bass player, we had guitar, so the organ was a part, but it wasn't. Institutional, it was drums and organ. And you maybe had somebody on the piano, but I was like, and then when I saw, now I was a straight Baptist. When I saw, and we got happy in my church, we was a fiery Baptist church. But when I got to institutional and I saw the mothers jump out there sliding across that floor, I said, oh, we got this wrong at my church. Because they were having Baptist fits. And I saw them sliding, crossing their leg and coming up I said, I didn't want to go back to my church ever again. And my mother said, I can't say what my mother said, but she said, no, you can't go to that church. I'll just leave it at that. And I was like, but she would let me go for special nights or whatever. So when my mother passed, I told my siblings, I said, I am not coming back to this church. I'm not coming back to this church. I'm going to institutional. So at 12, I started going to institutional.
So were you part of the youth choir there at that time?
Yes, I was a part of the gospel expositions.
I remember them. I was going to sing.
Wow. And now, people say I sound so much like Butch, but he never showed me anything. He would never, I could say, Uncle, show me. He'd be like, I'm not showing you anything. I'm like, he was that guy. But I tell him now, I sound the most like you. You didn't show me anything.
Wow.
So.
And you have to say, he's an Archbishop. J.C. White has to be one of the coolest directors. I mean,
Still.
He didn't even break a sweat.
No.
He would stand in one spot, and the harmony of the choir.
Amazing.
This is what I remember back in the day. It was like, so.
It's a music factory.
Okay, so let's talk about that for a moment. Name all of the musicians that came out of there. And if it wasn't for institutional, we wouldn't even know gospel music the way we know it today.
I can't even, it's so many. Okay, all right, let me just start. All right, me.
Yes, exactly.
Me, Melvin Crispell.
Yeah.
Yes.
Alfred White.
Yes. Carolyn White.
Carolyn White. We going do singers? Oh, we can't do this. We'll be
Yeah, I mean, the singers were.
Jeffrey White.
Yes.
Yeah. Stanley Brown played down in institutional.
That was like the Mecca. That was the hub. That was the Jerusalem.
They call it a music factory. I got my greatest influences from the institutional Church of God in Christ with everything. Dressing, because now one thing we also did down there, the fashion was, I would.
There's no hats like those hats?
No. I'm telling you, institutional, we had the dance, the praise, the worship, we had all that, but the dressing was amazing. They were so fabulous there that the choir members would come to church in their hats and dresses, go in the back, put on their robe, sing in their robe, come out from the choir stand after they have their robe on, put back on their hats and stuff, just to leave.
Just to walk to the
Talking about here. We wasn't playing with y'all. They weren't playing.
And those was the days when people walked the streets and people were playing dice. They would hide the dice.
Right.
This says the mothers
That's right,
would come in.
that's right.
There was a respect.
That's right.
They would even say, pray for me, pray
That's
for my
right.
family. You know, while you were walking the street,
Yeah.
there was a reverence.
That's right. That's right.
As though she's sanctified. And you knew the sanctified saints.
You knew it.
You were sanctified.
I mean, it was, I don't know what my life would be like had I not walked into the institution. I don't even know what my music would sound like. Because Butch Hayward, I tell anybody, Butch Hayward has been the greatest influence in my life. And like, he makes jokes about me all the time because I know more his music than he knows. Like, I'm talking about his music from the 70s and the 80s. He forgot a lot of it.
Wow.
Every CD that I do now, I do something from Butch Hayward that he wrote.
Wow.
People like, I forgot all about that song. I said, I know.
And you know, Bishop Williams back in the day, before there was inclusion, he was inclusion.
You better believe it.
He opened the doors of his church.
Everybody.
I mean, people preach whosoever will.
Let them come.
That church was whosoever will.
That's right.
Let them come. One of the kindest men I preached there.
Most definitely.
I mean, he would have everybody would come through there and preach there. I mean, he had me there preaching there when I was a young man. They would bring me there to preach there. And it was a God experience. And then the institutional radio choir, and I know but see, these are some of the influences that is upon James, because they paved the way for so much in gospel music. I remember when they did the gospel at Columbus.
Yeah, Colonus, yes.
At BAM, the Brooklyn Academy of Music.
Amazing.
And it was, you can go online and see it, just amazing. But then when we look at people like you, Hezekiah Walker has been influenced there.
He used to be down there on the broadcast. He used to be there all the time.
And Monique.
Yeah. She's a daughter of the church.
She's a daughter of the church. And then now you see Vincent Bohannon.
A son of the church.
A son of the church. It's like the
He's
legacy.
a generation after me.
Yes, he's the generation. Exactly. And that's what I loved about it at this birthday celebration, that he's coming. You're going to see like 2 generations. And it's like the keeping of the stream or the continuity of that sound. I feel his presence. Even now when we're talking about it, I feel his presence.
Yes, most definitely.
But it's just amazing. I really commend you for what you've done with gospel music, keeping it relevant. So tell the people, how can they get your music?
Oh, I'm on all the medias, all of them. I'm on Apple Music. We just did a recording a year ago at the Lincoln Theater in Washington, D.C. We were the first gospel recording there. I did a lot of firsts.
Wow.
I'm the first that did the gospel recording at Lincoln, Alice Tully Hall at Lincoln Center.
Okay, yes.
The first to do a live recording at Foxwoods.
Foxwood?
Yes.
Not at Foxwood?
Foxwoods.
Oh, you should have invited me to that one. Hello!
James Hall live at Foxwoods.
Get out of here. What? We're going to do another one. We're going to do another one.
Another recording.
The second coming of James Hall at Foxwood.
First one to do a gospel live recording at the Rialto Center in Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia. And the first one to do a live recording at Lincoln Theater in Washington, D.C.
Wow. Such a rich legacy. How many songs have you written?
How many songs have I written?
Yeah, here we go. Here we go. Come on.
I don't know.
Come on, Diva. Come on. Come
I
on.
don't. I should know that. I should know. I should know that, but I don't know. Because, I have songs that people haven't heard.
I know. You just.
So.
I mean, you have songs that haven't even been out yet.
That's true.
So you probably got hundreds of songs,
Definitely.
if not thousands.
I'm trying to get, Bishop, I'm trying to get Professor Hall to do one of his jazz presentations on the Friday night.
At my birthday, where we have Professor G. Thomas Allen.
I think that Professor Hall should be the opening
Oh my
act.
gosh.
One night with, just imagine him. A first.
It would definitely be a first.
It would be a
It would be a
first.
first.
Now, I sing jazz all the time in my house. That's one thing. But that would be.
I mean,
be a
could you?
first.
Because
People would actually
So
see
now,
me do it.
give me a little sample like what was in jazz. What would you do? Just a,
Lullaby of birdland, whisper low, kiss me sweet, and we'll go flying high in birdland, high is the sky up above. Oh, because we're in love.
I'm telling you, Bishop. I'm telling you.
wow.
Ready for that, bro. I mean,
You wasn't. What you said? You wasn't ready
I
for
wasn't
that.
ready for that, so I would have been.
Wait a minute. If that is what he does, what he's not ready for, what would?
Which is why I think he would be a phenomenal opening. Listen, he's a master. He's a master. James Hall, the
That is
master.
just. And have you written any jazz songs?
No.
So this is going to be a first for you too.
Yeah.
So this is going to be. This is going to be great. So we'll have James Hall all weekend. But I really want to see what he's dressed like when he comes to the jazz.
Well, the Friday night.
I want to ask him a question. How many hats do you have?
I don't know. I have a lot lot of hats. I do.
You listen.
He has lots of everything.
He can.
I do.
A lot of shoes, a lot of.
I do.
Shoes? I've never. He has shoes. He's like.
I have a lot of shoes.
You love shoes.
I love shoes.
Shoes and hats.
Do you have more shoes or more hats?
Shoes, more shoes.
Shoes. So you,
You know, the blessing is my size has not changed in so many years.
That's good.
So that's with the clothes, people be like, you have so many clothes. I said, well, the thing is, I was dressing so long. So what I do is I pull out suits from all the way in the back of the closet, take them to the tailor, and have them updated.
That's
And people come out, they be like only my friends from way back be like, wait a minute. you did not pull out that suit. I said, yeah. They was like, it looks amazing. I take it to the tailor and have it updated. So that's why, and then
Taylor.
I still shop.
you know, we gotta.
That's where we go wrong.
He's a
that I'm
shopper.
still shopping
He's a shopper?
today.
I'm on Fifth Avenue.
I'm gonna take him shopping with me one day. I want to see. I want to see. Man, we love
I
to
get
see each
excited
other.
about shopping. I was like,
Bishop, I'm on Fifth Avenue going on down the street. I see someone with bags bigger than he was.
he's not lying about that.
Walking right by St. Pat's. I said, James? He said, hey man, I'm just kidding. I said, James, with these bags, they're so huge.
That's my weakness is shopping.
Shopping's your weakness.
One of them, yeah.
So when is your birthday?
October 1st.
October 1st. Oh my goodness. So he loves shopping.
He's a shopper. Shopper.
I love the shop.
If he ever invites you over to his penthouse, overlooking.
He has a penthouse.
Oh my goodness.
Jonathan just tells everything.
Doesn't he? At the mouth.
I'm a fan. I know this. I'm part of the
It's a
James Hall
fan business to
fan
know
club.
Jonathan
everything.
is a fan. He called me one day and said, what is this song? I found this song. Like, this is not worship and praise. He found a song that I did. Was that for Timothy Wright?
Yes, I'm telling you.
And he was blasting. He said, I know this is your voice.
I know this, but listen.
You're a fan.
I'm a fan, so I know this stuff.
You know.
I know this stuff.
And when I got to Penthouse, one of the first people that hit me was Jonathan. Go, what are you gonna do in there?
What are you gonna do? Because he is
That's Jonathan.
paving the way. When Bishop, Pastor,
When Jonathan takes his glasses off, this
Okay, get ready, get ready.
Intense.
put a chandelier in there the size of the Renaissance ballroom.
Oh no, it's
This chandelier
It's not
is
that
so
big.
I said, he put a chandelier
Because
in.
he can.
I said, show me the way.
yeah.
So you love decorating.
Didn't know. I didn't know I was that person until I got into the Penthouse. Now, my place in Brooklyn, I still have that place, is nice.
Yes.
It's nice. But when I got to the Penthouse, I said, I'm not gonna bring anything from Brooklyn here. And I just looked around. Prophet, I'm telling you, I don't know. It was like I had a vision. And as the vision was
That's a
coming,
gift.
I picked out everything as I saw it in my vision. And
gift.
my place looks exactly the way I saw it in my head.
Vision.
It could be in American Digest. Architecture Digest. I'm sorry, Architecture
Yeah, I was trying to
Digest.
get in there. You know,
You was trying to get
connection?
in there?
Yeah, because they had a competition in my building of who has the best penthouse. And no one in my building had really saw my penthouse. So I took a picture and people was like, what floor is this on? Whose penthouse is this? So this little black guy with this penthouse, they was like, and my neighbors, so it was a totally different type of situation because I've never remember being friends with my neighbors, honestly. But like they're the greatest people. And like one day I opened up my door and my neighbor was walking by. She said, who did you bring in to do your apartment? I said, I did this myself. She said, you an interior decorator? I said, I never knew I was, but I just put it in just how I saw it.
And the vision.
Baby grand piano and all that kind of stuff, overlooking the water, or whatever that is.
It's just good scenery.
It's
There's no water.
amazing. So if he ever invites us, Bishop,
Oh,
In other words, they want to invite.
Yeah,
we ever get invited.
maybe
it's
there's
it's
a
not
listening party
that
here
great.
a listening,
of jazz.
An
Jazz.
evening with
Very
James.
small. My penthouse is very small.
Sure.
You know
Very
what?
small.
You said
Still a
chandelier. You said-
Yeah, it's very small.
It's still a penthouse.
It's smaller than my Brooklyn place,
It's still a penthouse.
but it's a penthouse.
You know
what? He probably has a
penthouse
loft in
is-
Brooklyn.
Yeah, listen, the fact that he has a place in Brooklyn and a place across the water, this is James Hall. What else would we expect? As he said to me coming into the house, what else would I wear? What else would I do? How else would he live? He's James Hall.
And that is so powerful. And I like this conversation because we as Christians have to stop making apologies
True.
for the blessings that God has
Yes.
given unto us.
Yeah, no,
and we need to
That's great.
shift the conversation. That if God can do it for me, I know that God can do it for you. So stop being ashamed. And will the world get upset? Yes. So what? They're going to get upset anyway. But you be the light. They're supposed to be looking at us anyway because we are the light of the world. So don't make any apologies. Whatever God bless me, to God be the glory. I give God glory.
I know that's
and
right.
I love what you said. You said, even my music, it said, I couldn't have thought of this here. Only God.
Yeah.
I don't even know where it came. It was just God. And we have to stop making apologies for the blessing.
Amen.
Stop making apologies for when God shows up on your behalf
I
and
know that's
chooses
right. I'm about
to
to
bless
dance
you
in
beyond
here.
measure.
You're gonna
Preaching.
See, that's all I have to say.
And you said that thing. I agree with you totally. Totally.
So I want to know before we close, James, can you cook?
Not at all.
You can't cook at all.
Not at all. So that's one of the things that people get mad at me because they say, all you do is what do they call me? Now they call me a restaurant connoisseur, because
Wait,
way to go.
because Bishop, let me tell you something. I
You go
watch.
Jonathan
I'm a
again.
fan.
Okay, tell us about it. Tell us what
This
he won't tell us.
man eats
Turn into the
out
fan.
every chop. I didn't know about this thing called a chopped tuna. You go to the
A bodega.
bodega. You can't do this up here at Saddle River.
No, you have to go to Brooklyn.
You gotta go to where there's a bodega, a corner store. So you go in there and you ask for this tuna, because my daughter, I said, what is this that he's eating? She said, oh, Dad, that's a tuna, and you chop it up and you put cheese in it and all this other stuff. But then he flip it around, he's eating lamb over at the Four Seasons.
Becoming all things to all men.
I love good food.
So you love to eat. You.
Yes, I love fine dining. So what now is getting to the place, because I put up my stories, and people hit me up. They say to me, when I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to eat, I go and see what you ate today, and this is a true story.
Good.
They say they look at me, and people say now you should be a restaurant.
Connoisseur.
Yeah, like
That's nice.
I mean,
And that's money in that too.
Yeah, because I know a person that they go around to different burger joints
Money.
and they eat for free, and they go there and they do a whole story around it. And we should, yes, like all of your lunches should be free. Every day you should have lunch at a different place.
and I would have no
And
problem.
if you
doing that.
need someone to come along with you, I'll drive up in the Bentley and meet you right
that's
there.
right.
And
And that'll be perfect for the.
and we'll come there and critique the meal.
we'll do the, and then I can go and do my ice cream date right on after.
Okay. That's another set.
Okay.
Jonathan, let me just update you so that you understand this. So,
Yes.
Jonathan, in taking a girl out, he won't do a food date. He does an ice cream date first. So the ice cream date will say whether if they're worthy of a
dinner.
food date, because he figured that by the time the ice cream melt, the date is kind of over instead of having to sit through 3 or 4 course meal.
Facts.
Yeah. Why
So
not? Waste
he
all
starts.
that.
So, young lady, if you ever get an invitation to an ice cream date, you know he's just testing
Know
you.
what that-
Ice cream.
You
Top
know what
ice
that
cream.
is.
It's gonna be phenomenal ice cream. I'm not getting you some something off the truck, Mr. Softy. I'm talking about some quality ice cream, quality conversation, and if you pass, it'll be a quality meal waiting for you.
You know what?
Sorry.
I'm not gonna
You know what?
To look forward to.
You know what, Pastor? We should auction.
gonna comment.
Let's auction this off at the birthday celebration. We'll offer this off at the birthday. How much should we start at the birthday celebration? $10.
$10.
$52.
$52.
That's how you want it. You're $19.99.
40 testing and trial.
Yeah, you off the market. They put you to pasture.
No, that's just a start, Jonathan. You want to?
Well, no, Bishop. I'm son of the master prophet. You gotta start me at 1,000.
No. You want to start low and let it climb to 1,000.
Give the
No,
excitement.
but if we start at 1,000, I can go up to 10.
No, it doesn't. You work that way. Sometimes it can start at 1,000 and just falls flat and nobody
Right.
saw anything.
Because they don't know.
And there's no movement. You want wherever
They
there's
see
movement.
me, and they start seeing me.
No, but that's what I'm saying. So see, at 52, and then you get up there and you drop a line or two, then all of a sudden somebody says, "No, I'm doing
let's break it."
520," and see that's where you see it jump. And then you sit there and you start saying, "Well, listen, ice cream with me is going to be," and I'll let you fill out the blank. Somebody say 1,000. See, that's how you work it. You let it.
Well, I want you to do it because Stephen will have me out.
No.
He don't know. Stephen will have me going out here for $5.
No,
You can't even get. You can't. What's
He's
that?
a hater. You're a hater. You're a hater.
He's not a
I'm not.
hater.
Bishop,
I want the
he
best
wants
for you.
his goods sold for a higher price.
No.
That's right. We're going to ship you off too. You're going up too. Your price is going up. Don't worry.
No. But well, you know what? You're dressing me, so They just don't look what I got
That's why
on.
your
And I
inbox is on fire. I heard about it now. They tell me they've been talking about you. They said, look at that tanny one over there.
Oh my God.
I said, oh, Tanny Tommy over here.
Tammy, Tommy. I'm done.
But Jonathan is dressing you.
Yes.
So if you don't get any calls, then we got to look at you because
Well,
you
Pastor, he's getting calls. Listen, his prophecies,
working.
they're going all the way up.
Jonathan is dressing all of us here. He's just.
Bishop, this Gucci is fabulous.
But let's get back to our guest.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Let's get
I'm
back to
so
our guest.
sorry.
So So one day we have to do it. We have to go shopping one day.
We kill Obed, and what we'll do is, Bishop,
with the camera.
we'll have Obed. We'll come. We'll go pick him up at the penthouse,
Okay.
and then we'll go to his favorite shopping spots,
Yes.
so we can see some of those, special spots. Because I need some. I'm gonna need some stuff for my place. So I'll be hopefully moving soon, and I would love for someone like James Hall to give me some pointers.
To come in there and bring some color
Just
in
come in there
there.
and be like, because one of his walls, the color.
What?
And that was a mistake.
Does it mistake?
What color? Tell them what color it is.
Is it purple?
I don't even know that color. People automatically say it's hot pink, but it's not hot pink. I don't know. It was a mistake.
You're mixing some colors.
Yeah.
And that color appeared.
Came out.
And you
so
liked
when
it?
I got it home, I had told the painter, I said, go ahead, let's see what's going on. I went in the room, and I came in, I was like, oh no. I said, he said, well, you want to take it back? It was like a whole big slab of it. I just was like,
leave it.
Just leave it. And so when everything was done, it was just like so loud in there. He said, well, give it a day and see,
Give it a day.
And let me tell you, what a difference a day makes.
What a difference a day makes.
I came out and I was like, it's not bad.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I can live with
It
this.
worked. I could live with it.
It's beautiful.
I mean, I had some of my friends would come over and they'd be like, man, you're a bachelor and you got a paint wall. I was like, it is what it is.
You know what?
It's beautiful.
Well, you've been listening to James Hall, and this has been a great interview. He's a natural. I don't know why
Listen, he's an actor, though. He's in the acting
I'm also
too.
an actor. I'm just not
He's
on
an
TV.
actor.
Yeah, I can.
And a
act.
model. He's been on Sean John.
Oh, I can see
I
him
modeled
modeling.
for Sean John. Yeah.
I could see him modeling. He could do it.
Oh, he could
Well,
do that.
listen. If you're gonna be at the birthday celebration, when his choir walked down, we might have to have them do an entry. Then when they come down, it would be like a fashion show.
Bishop, when they walk out, I can guarantee you. I've been in this prophetic now a little bit now. I can tell you when they walk out, people are gonna just start going.
They do that though.
Because they're gonna have on hats.
Listen.
It's always a joy when we would show up in different cities and coming on the stage, and sometimes maybe they hadn't heard of James Hall Worship Praise. And when my girls start walking out, they'd be like, now come on here. You hear the comments like, what?
What? Oh my God.
And they're singing in heels.
Yes.
10-inch heels.
Yeah.
All the way up.
That's true.
They are like.
And it was a thing that you could not sing in hats.
I know,
for
you're
years.
right.
So I changed that whole narrative.
You sure did. I mean, you one of the. I'm just trying to think. On a national level,
I don't
wait a
know.
minute. I don't think there's any choir.
That dresses like that and does
No, but sing in just a hat.
No.
But you have to have a certain attitude to even wear a hat. Not every woman can wear a hat.
If
Well,
any-
they don't even wear hats. They wear what's they called?
Scully?
Only.
No, not doilies.
Scully?
They mentioned it to Aretha. They says it was a lovely hat you had on. She said,
crown?
no, it's not hat. It begins with it's another word for hat, but it's not as I'll get it to you for you in a minute.
Chopard?
Chapeau.
Oh, wow. Chafu.
Chapeau, I think it's.
Chapeau.
Yeah, just whatever.
Yeah, we're getting a lesson here.
Huh?
So we're getting a lesson here. I like it.
Chapeau.
Is that what she wore during the inauguration?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, see, sir, you don't call it a hat. It's like, let me see. And because it's more than, it's not just a hat. It's like it has,
Presence.
yeah, it has a presence. Yeah, it's like, a hat's like a little skull hat,
Yeah.
baseball hat.
Okay, but this is a
Chapeau,
chapeau.
which is covering up the head. It's like it's a regalness, about it.
Yes.
Almost like a crown. So it would be, they could even probably end up, they just need to be branded. They could just have a book called The Crowns of Worship and Praise.
They've been wearing crowns. Well, my first generation, they weren't, not in the beginning, because we did robes. We wore robes. I don't know when did we make the change over, but when we made that change over, we made the change over.
What a change. Yeah, because see, institutional never really sang in hats. They didn't.
That's right.
The Hawkins didn't. Right? And they all could have done that.
Yeah, truly. They were
But-
trendsetters.
Exactly. But they did. But I'm thinking now of groups that are national. I don't know any that has. You have to have a certain presence, attitude.
And confidence.
Yes, you have to have confidence to put a hat on. Just like everybody can't wear a cape.
Most definitely.
Like I wear the cape, I'm natural in the flowing of that cape.
Yeah.
I saw some people put a cape on and says, you really shouldn't have a cape.
You're just wearing
just
them.
wear the overcoat.
Yeah. Stick to the rivers and the lakes that you're used to.
Truly.
Don't go chasing waterfalls.
But you know what? But everybody can.
Yeah, you have to have a presence.
That because it's the way you stand,
Presence.
out.
how you walk out. It's a presence. So when he talked about those choir members, well, you could
Absolutely.
tell their presence when they sang. They were divas anyway. They just had a presence. But when they would walk down that street, it was just a pleasure to see a woman walk down the steps in heels and turn the corner and just watch their presence. And one of the most beautiful sights is to see a woman in heels running after her child.
Yes.
There's just so many different images I remember in church that you would see that. And yet she was able to run and still be a lady in heels.
Yes.
There was just
Different kind of
but you
move.
kind of lost that now. I mean,
Most
today,
definitely. They're taking their shoes off at the door.
We're walking with flip-flops on.
Yeah. Or barefoot, which I never understood.
but you've done something that kept the culture of church, and you've not only made it a worship experience, but you've made it an art form that hopefully are cultivating. And then we'll see, of course, Vincent's going to be there, and he's coming
massive.
behind him. And I see that. I see Vincent's finding his voice and finding himself, which is the age of what he's
He should, yeah.
doing that at. And he's like a young version, and he kind of reminded me of a young version of Institution back in the day.
Definitely.
When you see it, I mean, y'all got to
Definitely.
be so proud of him to just
So
watch
proud.
it.
And I remember him sitting on, it's definitely like the generation change, because I remember sitting on the side of the organ.
Wow.
And then I remember when he started sitting, I was look at the little boy sitting on,
right.
look at the little boy sitting on the side of the organ. Who knew? And then when we migrated out of institutional, he became the youth choir.
Wow.
Youth choir director. And his mother, she would hit me up. She said, you know, Vincent is your son. She said, he's on the organ singing soprano now. He can't sing soprano no more. I still can sing soprano though.
Yeah.
But he would be on the organ hitting them notes. I was like,
Yeah, that was you hitting that note and say, God wants a
Yeah, that's me.
yeah.
Listen, nobody like him. Nobody like him. Nobody like James. Listen, Where you die. Just know that he's making you. He's holding you.
Bad rendition of my song, God Wants It. They're doing.
This is a shower version of how
The shower version,
You can always
but we
check it.
still love it.
I'm on Apple Music. Please go and purchase it.
What may
That's James.
That's James.
That's him.
Yeah.
There was a day I used to do that.
Yeah, well,
Not.
the day's coming.
And it's gone. But James could
He's a man for all days.
At first, when I first heard it, I thought there was somebody else till I saw the video and I said, he is still doing.
He can do it from the organ.
From the organ.
I do it from the organ all the time.
One of the best organ players of the city. You've only got a few in that. He's there.
Yeah, I'm grateful for that. I love the organ. I love playing the hand organ.
Well, we're going to have an organ there. Let me check.
Oh,
Obed,
yes.
are we going to have an organ there for him? Obed says that.
Yes, okay.
They're gonna have
We have to. I tell anybody that's bringing James forward from praise, you got a Hammond organ? They'd be like, oh yeah. I was like, okay. And I went places that they didn't have, and I'd be like, you couldn't have invited me and didn't have a Hammond organ.
What do you want me to play?
And I'm serious.
Black folks that keep Hammond organs in business.
Yeah,
Black choirs.
going to have to. Got to have an organ.
All right. Well, listen, you've just heard this podcast with James Hall. We're going to go off now, and we'll be right back after these here. Let's see, who will we come up with singing here right after these messages?
To keep in touch with Master Prophet E. Bernard Jordan, go to www.bishopjordan.com and follow him on all social media platforms. To get more information about the Prophecology Conference and or more special events, go to www.zoeministries.com or call 888-831-0434. Thank you and stay blessed.